We all know the corporations that are doing us damage, the fast food restaurants that are making us fat, or the advertising companies that lie to sell products. But the following companies take it to a whole new level with their greed, corruption, and even mass murder to sell their products. These are 10 most evil corporations you're buying from. Number 10. Bayer. The makers of aspirin, Bayer is one of the most popular pharmaceutical companies in the world. They sold HIV and hepatitis C contaminated blood products in 1984, causing up to 10,000 people to contract HIV in America alone. So you would think they would take the contaminated drugs off the shelves and destroy them, right? Well, to keep on earning money, they decided to sell the HIV-tainted drugs in Latin America and Asia. To make matters worse, their CEO last year said that they make life-saving cancer drugs for rich people who can afford them. Number 9. Monsanto. This company is most famous for its pesticides and for being the first company to genetically modify a seed to be resistant to pesticides and herbicides called Roundup Ready, which means it doesn't die when you douse the crops in chemicals. Studies show rats that have eaten these crops are more likely to die. Revealing this company is even more evil, Monsanto were convicted of dumping 10,000 pounds of a synthetic organic chemical compound of chlorine attached to biphenyls known as PCBs into the waterways of Anniston, Alabama. This led to one of the highest concentrations of toxic pollution ever recorded in history. What was Monsanto's view on this? Well, they stated, "We can't afford to lose $1 of profit." Number 8. Correction Corporations of America. This company profits big time from keeping people in jail. They manage prisons that lobby against true reform and keep people in jail for the smallest of offences like selling a dime bag of weed. With this evil corporation, it's no wonder America has the highest incarceration rate per capita in the world. When President Reagan introduced legislation to privatise prisons, imprisonment rates spiked, leading to a lot of money being made by Correction Corporation of America. From the early 1980s to 2008, the number of federal laws has risen from 3,000 to 4,450 in 2008 just to get more people into prison. In 2012, the company's revenue exceeded more than $1.7 billion. Number 7. Rio Tinto. Rio Tinto is the biggest mining company and provides the world's raw aluminium, copper, uranium, gold and diamonds. Operating mostly in Africa, they may have the worst track record for human rights. In the 1970s, Rio Tinto was discovered to have been running illegal uranium mines in Namibia and using the profits to support apartheid government in South Africa. The government then returned the favour, allowing them to operate in the area. Using brutally repressed slave labour, they maintained their own private mercenary army to keep the blacks from rising up against them and the government. They have also been known to torture and kill opponents of their gold mines. Number 6. Koch Industries. The Koch Industries company is famous for using its profits to spread lying political propaganda and having unfair influence in politics and politicians. They also have control over energy markets, pipelines, defence, agriculture and cattle. They are responsible for 300 reported oil spills across 6 American states. To make things worse, they are avid global warming denialists, pouring millions of dollars into fighting the US clean energy bill and have been fined for environmental crimes relating to excess emissions of 85 metric tons of benzene, a known carcinogen. Number 5. Siemens. Siemens is a well-known electronics manufacturer that makes everything from vacuum cleaners to car parts. However, this company has a dark secret. They also built the group-sized hydrogen cyanide Nazi gas chambers used in Auschwitz. During the Nazi era, they immersed themselves into also building the infamous train system which transported Jews to the concentration camps. Operating more than 400 factories throughout Germany, by 1944 they also funded the Nazi Party during the 1930s. However, they haven't learnt from their evil ways and are known to have bribed government officials and even the entire country of Greece. Number 4. Chiquita. Chiquita, previously United Fruit Company, are well known for selling bananas around the world. During a workers' strike in 1928, United Fruit Company decided against giving their workers better working conditions. Instead, they opted for having the Colombian army set up mounted machine guns around the strikers and firing at them. This fruit company is known for having started a 36-year civil war in Guatemala after the president decided to implement better workers' rights in 1954, leading up to 250,000 deaths and the government being overturned. They then decided to change their name to wash their hands of their evil acts. In 2004, they were accused of paying terrorist groups to protect their plantations in Colombia. All of this corruption just so they can sell bananas? Number 3. Walmart. Walmart is known for their unethical business practices. Not only do they send smaller local businesses to the wall, they aren't exactly a poster child for workers' rights either. They're known for running sweatshops in China with child labour, underpaying women and neglecting pregnant workers. They have also been sued in nearly 250 cases for hiring illegal workers and forcing them to clean their stores 7 days a week and locking them up at night. In 2014, the Walton family received $8 billion in tax breaks, $6.2 billion of which came from federal taxpayers' subsidies, handed to them because their employer wages are so low. Number 2. FIFA. Known to accept bribes, FIFA have billions of dollars in reserve, even though they're meant to be a non-profit organisation. They have been known to lobby governments in order to change laws, such as the lifting of bans on alcohol in stadiums in Brazil. They even awarded the 2022 World Cup to Qatar, which is known to have desert temperatures over 110 degrees in the heat of summer when the cup will be played. Qatar are known for their human rights violations and abusive labour practices that border on slavery. Number 1. Various pharmaceutical companies. In 2009, high concentrations of 21 different pharmaceutical drugs were found to be in a water supply near Patancheru, India. These drugs were found to be dumped in the town's drinking supply by different factories owned by US pharmaceutical companies. One factory was found to be dumping 100 pounds of an antibiotic called ciprofloxacin into water used for drinking and bathing. Pharmaceutical waste has also been discovered in the US. It is estimated that the tap water used by 46 million Americans contains traces of pharmaceutical drugs, and is also known to be hurting the environment and wildlife surrounding the waterways. We still don't know the long-term effects small quantities of dozens of combined drugs will have on people.